Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another PlayStation review. Today I'm taking a look at EA Sports FC25, the annual football release from EA. Right, I basically play this game every single year. Usually I am wooed into buying the most expensive version of this game so I can play it early because, I'm a big football manager fan. And it is worth saying straight from the off, guys, that this is really just me focusing on the career mode in this game as a manager rather than a player or create a club or anything like that. This is just me doing the management career because I like football management sims. My favourite, obviously, is Football Manager, which I cover on this channel now because that gets a PlayStation release. Last year, when this was released on the PlayStation for the first time in God knows how many years, you were actually allowed to watch the matches as a manager. That was a feature, unbelievably, that wasn't in the career mode, manager mode for such a long time, and it's what I really, really wanted. I wanted to be able to watch the matches, set the tactics out before the match, watch the match, make subs during the match, so on and so forth. I wanted to be the manager in the dugout watching the football matches. Last year they gave me that, so I was absolutely thrilled with that. This year, now, it's easy to get cynical with this game and with EA in general because, let's be honest, it's the same with the Madden, it's probably the same with the hockey game, it's the same with UFC. They're basically, and obviously this, they are basically the same game every year, pretty much reskinned with a couple of what they would describe as, game-selling features. But they aren't really massive upgrades. It's the same again this year, I'm afraid. I don't really see any major changes here in regards to the career mode for a manager. Yes, the menus look different because they'd looked the same for many, many years. It's set out slightly differently, the menus. You've got like a task list now when each day starts. The scouting feels a little bit more useful this time. You've got a youth squad, which is more integral to your senior squad, and they will age up as you kind of train them, and you can, as they improve, they will improve kind of realistically, and you can add them into your first team. So the little things like that obviously have been tweaked to kind of make it a little bit better. The training that for me was just an absolute pain in the arse last year and for the previous years has been tweaked. So it's a little bit more. You can be as hands-on as you want with the training. You can do all the training drills and stuff still. I don't like doing all that. I like to kind of set it as kind of pretty automated in regards to the training and let it kind of just go. And you can do that here. You can kind of automate the training, and it feels actually a little bit better. The fitness and the sharpness of your players feels a little bit more realistic. Like when you've played a match, sometimes after the match, I mean, how it used to be was like everybody be knackered. If there were like a match 3 days later and you could barely feel your team, they'd all be knackered. Whereas this time, there might be 2 or 3 of the players that need a rest, rather than all the players that need a rest. So it doesn't feel as intrusive. You don't have to kind of swap and change your team every single week. So that's pretty good. Transfer hub works pretty much as it used to. Your squad hub works pretty much as it used to. They just all look slightly differently. Now, for me, I think one of the biggest changes, I hesitate to call it an improvement, but I will call it a change, is you can change the game settings to simulation. And what that basically means is, or what they claim it means is, it kind of makes the games, the matches, kind of a bit more simulation-like. A little bit more like Pro Evo, if you like. A little bit slower, the pace of the games. There seems to be, when it's on simulation, to me, it does seem a little bit more real. And what I mean by that is sometimes players make mistakes. they'll miss pass, or they'll kind of get tackled in places before where they would never kind of get tackled, like on the settings it used to be on. So I would personally suggest, if you're going into this, to do it like as a career mode as a manager, changing it to simulation mode. I think it actually does make a bit of a difference. It's only subtle, but you can kind of, if you've played this game for a few years, and certainly if you watched a lot of the games like I did last year and this year, they do kind of look and act a little bit different to players when it's on simulation mode. So I do like that upgrade here. The presentation, as always, is outstanding. You can't really fault EA for the way the game looks in regards to the presentation, the build up to the matches. You can kind of now, that it gives you the option, if you want, if you click like the square button when a match is being introduced, you can kind of watch the full match intro, so you get a few more cutscenes. You get them walking out to the pitch with the kids holding their hands, and you get the full team intro and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't click square, it kind of gets faster into the match, if that's your sort of bag. So the build-up's very good. Commentary is as it's always been, really. It's there, you don't really notice it, and if I'm being honest, sometimes I'll actually have like a movie on or something on my tablet while I'm watching the games. As a manager here, I don't even always have like the sound on with this game. That's just how I like to play it sometimes, because it can get a bit repetitive. Transfers work as they used to. You can obviously change the settings to make the transfers a bit easier if you want. There's not much in the way of new cutscenes for the transfers. There's not much in the way of new scenes for when you sign a new player. They all appear to be the same. You've got press conferences very similar to how they used to be. Post and pre-match interviews very similar to how they used to be. So it's the same game with a fresh coat of paint, with some noticeable tweaks here and there. Is it significant enough to warrant the price you're going to pay for this? I would suggest not. Like I say, I'm usually duped into buying the expensive version of this to play it early. Well, I didn't do it this year. I waited and paid like the normal price, if you like, rather than like the £90 or £100 version in the UK. I think I paid the £60 price tag, which is expensive enough. It's not worth £60 this really, because all you're getting is a new set of transfers, a few new like player faces, a little bit of a spit and polish here and there, changing the menus, and not a great deal else. I mean, it's got that. You can play the youth matches as well if that's your thing. I don't, and it's that new mode Rush where it's like 5-on-5 sort of thing. The youth matches, I don't bother with that sort of thing because I don't like playing the game anyway. In that sense, it just frustrates me. But there's been more emphasis put on the youth this time round. That's for sure. And obviously, you could do the full manager mode as with women's teams as well now, as well as the men's teams, because it's been fully incorporated into the game now. That side of football, if that's your bag. So yeah, it's another year. EA FC25 is here. It is basically EA FC24. If you played both of them side to side, there is going to be barely any difference between the two of them. I'm fairly sure about that. I can't be bothered to kind of do them comparisons, but I'm sure there are people out there on YouTube that do those comparisons. It's really just for me to, live that fantasy of being like a football manager, and this is the most attractive way of doing it in regards to how the game looks and feels. And it's such a joy to actually watch the matches now. But overall, okay, yeah, it's a 7 out of 10, but there is an argument to say it's actually less than that because there's not a huge amount of effort gone into this one. So yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, what your thoughts are on this game. Is this one that you've picked up? Is it one you're intending on picking up? And of course, I will be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.